Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. You know what time it is. Welcome to Sucka-Free Saturday. I want to thank all of you in advance for joining a brother. Peace and blessings to everybody. Don't worry, we're going to get the greetings in. But before we do, just a few things as a reminder. Please make sure to check the description field below every video. There's information, resources there, just a lot of good stuff. And also, going forward, if you have any suggestions or want to see information there, reach out to me at blackoutcastmedia@gmail. That's blackoutcastmedia@gmail.com. And I'll be sure to put up links to resources that you guys are looking for. I'll put up information on projects and things like that that you're working on. So there's that. Also too, fam, if you haven't done so or haven't considered it or didn't even know about it, just a reminder, you know what I'm saying? A brother always has a powerful need to eat sometime in a calendar month. So if you like my work, you find what I do salient and of importance, and you can call it, right? Because I understand we ain't all rich folk. These are tough times. But if you can call it, click that join button down there and take a look at what options you have available to help support my work. It's definitely appreciated, not necessary. I'm still going to do what I do, but I appreciate you considering it. So before we get into the topic for today, I want to do some shout outs to my peoples. ADOS7B1 is in the house. Sister Strongflower is in the house. Brother Lionel fam, peace. I see you. Sister Lisa, by the way, thank you for the love and welcome to the broadcast. Black Grinder the First. I know you told me that your other name, the one that I know you by, but remind me. But peace to you. Welcome to the broadcast. D Will is in the house. Jason Arcanate, Darker Visions is in the house. My brother Double Cease is in the house. Evan McKay is in the house. Sister Sherry, welcome to the broadcast. The Cool Man is in the house. Sister Cynthia, good to see you again. Welcome to the broadcast. Unsunken One, good to see you as well, fam. The Black Collective, my brother, I think that's Brother Travis, is in the house, right? I'm doing well, fam. By the way, last week was my birthday, Monday. I turned 48, gained a year, lost a tooth. But it's whatever, fam. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting older, but I'm getting better. At least I hope so. All right, so with this shout out, Brother Jarrett's in the house. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. So with the shout outs, Big Unk, see, y'all piling in. You know what? Y'all are never late. I tell my people that all the time. You're never late, fam. Right? Whenever you show up, you are right on time. And thank you for the birthday wishes, Sister Strongflower. I appreciate it. I got a lot of good birthday wishes on Twitter. By the way, if you're not following your man on Twitter, what the fuck are you waiting on? Like, get at me. Sister Darkchild is in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. Right? So, fam, today, in line with our renewed commitment to leave behind in the dust the detritus of our connections with the hashtag movement, we are going to move forward on actually building some stuff, right? And we are going to discuss not problems. You're not going to come here broadcast after broadcast to hear me rant about this issue, about that issue. We got enough folk that are doing that. That's not your man. That's never going to be your man, right? What I'm here for is to find or help us to find solutions to our problems, solutions to the issues we face. I truly believe, fam, and this is a personal aside. By the way, shout out to my beloved sister Alma. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. I really believe, fam, that there are people out there who profit off our suffering. I call it the black frustration industry, right? They continually highlight the injustices, They continually highlight the injustices that we face, right? Whether it's an event where we're beaten by the police. By the way, Miss Denny's in the house. Sister Monty's in the house. Love you both. Welcome to the broadcast. These people make a living, fam, keeping you hurt, keeping you upset, but providing you with no outlet, right? These people don't want us to actually discuss ways and means of being able to address how it is that we get out of these circumstances. How do we find our way to liberation, right? So your angry brother, the angry black sheep, the black outcast, the one who loves you, I've made a commitment to you that I'm done talking about fucking problems. By the way, shout out to my beloved fam VLB. Welcome back to the broadcast. It's good to see you again. I'm not going to keep you constantly triggered on the edge of your seat, discussing issue after issue after issue with no outlets, with no means by which to be able to address what it is that we have to face. No. Starting from today, actually I've been doing it the whole time I've been broadcasting if you watch my videos. But starting from today, when we discuss these topics, we're discussing these topics from a viewpoint of solutions. I'm not going to sit here, fam, and claim that I have the answers, right? This is going to be, by its very different definition, a collaborative effort, right? We are going to have to work together to get ourselves out of this mess. But somebody has to be willing to be accountable, to put up something that we can measure, something that we can actually say, okay, have we done this? Is this successful? Is this not? Somebody has to be the first to take some responsibility and say, okay, here's the idea. Here's the game plan. Something that we can measure, we can count, that's tangible, that we can move towards, that we can do, that we can accomplish, that actually has the stated aim of making our lives as a tribe better. By the way, shout out to my beloved sister, Miss Kawami. Welcome to the broadcast, sis. I see you. Right? So today's broadcast is going to be the first of 10. Now, I have a confession to make. As many of you know, I've announced the end of Black Outcast Media broadcasting. I didn't really share with you guys the ultimate reason as to why I was looking to end the channel, right? But the ultimate reason was simply that I feel like that I have said everything I think that needs to be said. But with that having, with that being the case, I have been reborn, so to speak. Before the new year, fam, I talked about a reboot. I talked about the need for us to reboot, renew, right? To get back into this fight. And with, of course, the recent events surrounding the hashtag movement and seeing the people's renewed commitment to the work in spite of the obstacles placed in their way by personalities, by conflicts with hyper-partisan, non-thinking individuals, with people starting to see that this work is not dependent upon any one particular individual or group of individuals, but upon a commitment to our lineage and a willingness to get out there and put in the time, the effort, the energy, the resources. I have found a renewed commitment to supporting that. So with that in mind, I'm going to say that at this point, I'm not looking to end the channel. Instead, what I'm going to do is continue to do my work, right? Continue to educate, inspire, and trigger people's minds to get wrapped around this advocacy. In other words, to create as many marked blacks as I can create. But I'm also going to act as a clearinghouse, as a space where all of the people, regardless of whatever little affiliation or hashtag or whatever the hell they embrace, can have a place to come and share ideas, share information, organize, come together to do this work. The work remains. We are no longer going to be sit here and be bound by the failures of other people's imaginations. For too long, family, our tribe has been bound by the failure of people to imagine, to look at the world as it is. Most of these people won't even see the world how it actually exists. But there's a place beyond that, fam. When I look at the world, I'm giving you some insight on your brother's mind, fam. By the way, shout out to my esteemed brother Golden Jaguar. I see you, fam. Key Boots in the house too as well. My beloved esteemed sister from another Mr. Toolbox is in the house. Fellow Aquarian, love you. Welcome to the broadcast. When I look at the world, fam, I see, as best I'm able, reality, right? I'm looking to try to see what is real. However, like a hologram or an image overlaid the reality that exists here in front of my eyes, I also see another world, right? I'll look at this patchy mess of land over here by my apartment that's overrun with brambles, and I'll see trees and all sorts of life just swamping the place, right? I'll look at the walls that construct my apartment here, and I will see them made from natural materials like stone and wood and clay and straw, things like that. And this vision exists like an overlay, like a pastiche, if you will, over reality. And what I realize, fam, is that overlay is the vision that I bear in my heart for what I would like the world to be, what I can see the world being. I am not hindered or bound by my failure to imagine what world I not only want to live in, but the world I want to see you live in, and the world I want to see our children live in, and our children's children, and so on and so forth for generations to come. And I keep that vision in my face, right here, my frontal lobe, like a torch, like a beacon. If I do my job right, fam, I infect you with that same vision, with that same beacon. So just like me, you go forward bearing the torch of the world that we imagine can be, with the ability to be able to make that world come to fruition, to give it birth. And I just wanted to share that with you today, because so many times we get hopeless. We get caught up in bullshit and drama and just, fam, the thing that carries you through times like that is vision. It's having that overlay that tells you what world is possible. And you need to be able to see that in a one-to-one correlation with everything you see around you. In other words, this vision needs to burn so bright in your breast that you cannot help but to see it. I know what that world looks like. I can smell it. I can taste it. I can feel it. I can hear it. So Black Outcast Media Broadcasting will continue to be the clearinghouse and the vision bearer of the world we're trying to see, starting with us, but definitely not ending with us. Starting with our tribe, but definitely not ending with our tribe. Fam, thank you for letting me speak on that. I felt like I wanted to share that personal aside, right? To explain to you what my motivations are, what my intentions are, to clarify my intentions, and to let you know that your brother is still going to be here to do the work. All right. So thank you guys again for your patience. With that said, let's get into it. Today, we are talking about topic number 1. In all of the areas of human activity that we're aware of, fam, this topic is so pivotal, it's so important, that without a clear understanding of this topic, everything else we set out to do in every other area of human activity is bound to fail us. We are going to talk about economics. Now, all my angry black sheep know that I have prepared you guys for discussions of topics like this for years now. We understand that words have meaning. We understand the value of critical thinking, of formulating logical, chains of logic, and so on and so forth, right? So we're going to start off with the beginning, with the foundation. What the hell is economics? Because, fam, one thing that you have to give the white supremacists, the racists, the white supremacists credit for is that they're good at iteration. They're good at making you think something old is new again, right? We've watched them iterate racism and white supremacy in this country from slavery to, debt peonage, sharecropping, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, voter disenfranchisement, you name it. We've watched them iterate time and time and time again. So we know, fam, that what is being spoken about today isn't necessarily how a thing began. In other words, the use of a word today may not be the original use of the word in our language when it was first formulated. So etymology, or how a word came to be, is very instructive. Sometimes, fam, in order for us to move forward, we have to actually look backward. And so we're going to do that with economics, because we need to understand what economics is. Not economics the way they tell us economics is, right? Not the economics, the game that we've been playing, that we've been consistently fucking losing for the last 400 years. No. But what economics actually really is. Because I believe, fam, that after today, once we understand what economics are, to us as a tribe, so many solutions to our problem will present themselves that we will literally run out of time trying to figure out all the solutions. Like, seriously, fam, they will blossom once we have a clear understanding of economics, what it is to us or how it should be for us. The solutions pop up like mushrooms. You'll get sick of figuring this out. You'll be like, wow, okay, yeah, we can do this and we can do that and we can do this. It'll open up a whole new world. And not only that, but it'll ground us in the foundation that we need to be able to strike white supremacy, racism in the other areas of human activity, because this fight, fam, is across a wide battlefront. It's in entertainment, it's in the law, it's in politics, it's even in bloodshed, in fighting, defense, it's in religion, it's in everything. But economics, if we understand it correctly, will be the foundation we need to springboard our activity into all of those other areas. So, to the teaching screen, fam, we are going to look at what economics originally was. Economy. This is the root word for economics, right? Now, like I said, words have meaning. Here's a tree, fam, that gives you the basic meaning of the word economics, right? Economics was constructed from Greek roots. The Greek oikos, which means a house or a clan, a grouping, a household, a family, right? A grouping of people. And nomos or nemen, which means to manage. So essentially, fam, at its root, the word economics is the study of household management. Now, you're thinking, okay, that's great information, right? Like, okay, great to know that historical, aside, but why is this important? Fam, I would argue that accepting the original meaning for the word economics is so liberating for Black people that we will be pissed off we didn't understand it earlier. An economist, right? The original Greek construction of economist or an oikonomos is somebody who is a manager or a steward of a house. Now, what's a steward, fam? Let's take a look at that. A steward is somebody who has charge of the household of another, buying and obtaining foods, directing the servants, etc., right? In other words, a steward is a servant. A person who manages another person's property or financial affairs, one who administers anything is the agent of others or others. So essentially, fam, in economics, right, in order to be a steward, one has to already be committed to service. The concept of stewardship is bound up in the concept of economics because no one person can stay on top of everything. And when a household or a clan got big enough, there needed to be people who specialized in household management. Sister Sherry said, why do I get the feeling that chattel slavery is going to screw this up? I don't think so, fam. You'll see. By the way, shout out to my sister Cynthia McDonald. Thank you for joining the Black Sheep. I appreciate you becoming a supporting member of the channel. A steward, fam, is a servant and a manager. Now, the concept of management is important because management is about husbandry. It's about care, about maintaining. And this is the thing I think that we as Black people, as the descendants of the enslaved here in the United States, have been missing. We've been told that economics is about trade. It's about you got to give something to this motherfucker and this motherfucker got to pay this motherfucker and then somebody might owe you something and so on and so forth. We've been told that economics is about trade. What they haven't told us, fam, is that economics is about maintenance. It's about sustenance. The first concept that I want to leave with y'all today as a possible solution to our problem, because again, I don't have the answers, but I have this, I believe, is an answer. Whatever economics ultimately is determined to be with us, the descendants of the formerly enslaved, it cannot involve money. It cannot involve trade. You don't trade with your daughters or your sons. You don't trade with your husband. You don't trade with your cousins and your grandmother. No. You guys all work together in common efforts to gather resources, at which point you share them. There's no exchange of bread back and forth, really, right? Unless they borrow money and agree to pay it back. But if you're smart, you don't loan your family money anyway. You either give it to them or you don't. Because I've seen families break up over loans and money. Susu or tontas or something similar, Cynthia, I've discussed them before, but this is more foundational, right? I like where you're going with it, but understand that what I'm talking about is more foundational than that. These are basic principles And we'll branch up into specific solutions. By the way, thank you to my dear brother Morpheus for the love. I appreciate you, fam. So the concept of a steward, fam, is somebody who lives to serve the administration of a household. Right? Somebody whose work, whose purpose is managing a household. I'm going to argue today that economics for us as black people, has to have the effect of turning us from these atomized, split apart housing and familial and social units into one great household. And we need to operate with each other economically as if we're operating with members of a household. Now, don't worry, fam. I'm going to support my assertion with clear logic. In this country, fam, America treats us. Thank you again, Brother Morpheus. I appreciate you. This country treats us as one big Negro in everything. It doesn't matter what it is, fam. When they do entertainment, they're not looking to refine their taste for different subsects of Negroes, right? They're not looking to, say, hey, I want to do this, this art for, the Negroes that like alternative music. No. They treat us all like one big Negro. Even in public service messages and announcements and shit, right? They treat us all like one big Negro. They have some motherfucker come out speaking some AAVE, no matter what their title, no matter what their profession. They could be doctors, they could be, politicians, attorneys, but they send someone out talking to us like, what's up, fam? Blah, 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 right? They treat us all like one big Negro. But the problem isn't that they treat us like one big Negro, fam. The problem is that we haven't embraced the fact that we are all one big Negro. We are one household. We are one clan, one group of people. That's the one problem that has been the root in all of the problems that we faced in our combat with these bastards to destroy white supremacy and racism, is the fact that we, the vulnerable, the oppressed, the brutalized, the victims of rapine, brutality, theft, murder, have been operating like we all a bunch of motherfucking lone wolves. We are one. Thank you, Miss Kwame, and thank you to Sister Toolbox for the love. I'm going to let y'all's comments read out. If you take nothing away from the broadcast today, take this. There is no difference between your household and mine. We are related.
The bogey egg.
Yep. We are related, fam. Whether you like it or not. So here's the real twisted part about it. You can rebel against it. You can say, man, fuck them niggas. I ain't with them fools. You can say it.
We appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, sis. Thank you very much for the love. You can rebel against it all you want. You can kick against the trace. You be like, nah, I'm cool. Fuck these niggas. It don't matter. Try to run as far as you want off in the other direction away from us. And no matter what, when they see you individually, you are the black collective in this country. Every time they see you, they see me. It was structured that way from Jump Street. It's how they're able to react and respond to any efforts we make towards our own liberation, towards our own justice. Because they don't have to think about it. One Negro equals all Negroes. Period. And if I attack one, I'm willing to attack them all. This is why we face traditionally in this country collective reprisals for the acts of one Negro. One black person does something criminal or something fucked up or something whatever. It ain't just that one person. It's all us. We all either have to come out publicly and decry the acts of this one person. Like, nobody else has to do this. A white man go commit a crime. This is a white motherfucker who's a criminal. Black man commits a crime. All of us have to stand up publicly and say, we ain't like him. I'm completely outraged, Mr. Charlie. Because they have no problem with attacking the collective for the actions of one single Negro. We were called by the people who lead the hashtag movement to claim the name. To say that instead of operating as if being considered one big Negro was a detriment, to start operating under the auspices of the idea that being one big Negro is actually to our benefit. Because, fam, it actually is. Economics for us means always collective action. You can call it communism. You can call it whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Economics for us, the descendants of the formerly enslaved, has to be collective. And I'm not talking about this bootstrapper bullshit that they be talking about, like you need to support black businesses. No, I'm not talking about supporting more fucking capitalism that slits our throats. I mean communal husbandry, frugality, growth, harnessing of resources to the betterment of us all. If it does not operate that way, it cannot be economics for us. Because capitalism don't work for us. We've been locked out of the capitalism game since the beginning. First of all, we the group in this country that lack the least we have the least amount of capital available to do anything. Right? That right there tells you what the end game for you is under capitalism. You're the bottom caste. You have literally damn nearly zero capital to operate with. But you want to play the capitalism game. Right? You get mad at other Negroes because we won't come in and buy shit from you in your little capitalist scheme to try to become, mimetic white folks and mimetic Asian folks. Never understanding that economic system was never yours to begin with. It was never going to be yours. It was never going to benefit you. It is not us who is to blame for not frequenting your black business. This country, this government is to blame for denying us access to capital to begin with, for making sure that while everybody else can play the capitalism game, we can't. This isn't to say that there isn't shit we can't do. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we so broke, we can't do nothing. No, but what this means is that any economic action that we, the descendants of the formerly enslaved, take that will help us will have to be grounded in the fact that we need to operate like a household. In other words, it's all about maximizing income and minimizing outgo. A household that consistently gives out more than what it brings in is a household that will end up dissolving. It cannot maintain itself. We don't need more black capitalists. We need more stewards. We need more managers. We need more people who are willing to look at our people as one big collective Negro and start operating accordingly. By the way, shout out to Jackson J. I see you, fam. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. I'm not gonna cut down black business people. I know they're trying to get it how they get it. But we need a renewed understanding of what economics is. Not imitation economics of whites and Asians and Latinos and everybody else, but a real economics that works for us. We need to be a household. We need to operate like a household. Whenever I see your individual family, I need to be thinking, how is it that I can help manage your resources or add to you and you add to me? That don't involve no trade. That doesn't involve no exchange of fucking money. What that is a willingness to see what is your best interest and to encourage you to see what's in my best interest. And for us to work communally together for our best interest economically. This means that whenever you get access to resources, I got access to resources. Why? Because the first person you're going to run to isn't going to be your white homie down the street. It ain't going to be, your little Mexican dudes you used to hang with back in the day. The first person you're going to run to is me. You get access to a job or another opportunity for income. You're not going to sit there and put somebody else on because they're the most qualified. No, you're going to go to your brother, even if he ain't never done the job a day in his fucking life, and you're going to put him on. Are you starting to get the picture, fam, of the power in operating as what we already are? We already are one big Negro. We are already one household. It doesn't matter how far you try to run from your people. It don't matter what neighborhood you move to or what car you drive or what accent or affectation you put on. When they see you, they see me. It ain't got shit to do with what you feel about it. That's right, Sister Strongflower. Economics is love in action. And what is it that the Bible says about love? Paul said, love, charis, the root of charity, starts at home. Love starts at home, fam. Your home is with me. It always has been and it always will be. No matter what, until we see the final resolution to the injustice known as white supremacy / racism in this country, home is with me. My home is with you. We are one household. We are one clan, one people, and we need to operate as such. Now, let's look at some practical examples of what I'm talking about. Let's look at some actual ways and means by which we can make this happen. I want to share with you something I took a look at today. Here's an article in the New Statesman talking about housing as a basic human right. And I know what you're thinking. Human rights. Yeah, you sound like them Bernie characters, them democratic socialists or whatever. Niggas always talking about rights, but no, fam. There's more to it than this. Because in order for many of us to believe something's possible, we have to see that something is possible. Back in World War I, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and yes, it was an empire, lost the war. And so they were broken up into Austria, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, so on and so forth. All these modern European nations you know about today. And Vienna, which was the capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, fell on hard times after the collapse of the empire. A lot of the resources they had to maintain homes and shit like that just wasn't there. So what did they do in Austria? Well, they built what they call social housing, public housing. And you're like, what? Mark Black, they built projects? Man, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? They built housing projects? Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. They built social housing. But wait. Here's where the love came in. Unlike in America, where they built public housing to just warehouse the useless eaters and the throwaways and the outcasts and the bottom casts, you know, us, the hoi polloi, right? In Austria, even rich people live in public housing. That's right. In Austria, public housing, 60% of the people in Vienna, rich, poor, whatever, live in what's called social housing. Now, how does social housing work? Well, instead of them putting housing on the market, right, for trade, they basically said everybody needs a place. So we're going to build up places. And at most, we're just going to charge people what it takes to maintain and, upkeep the places. Remember what I talked about as a household? A household is about maintenance. A household is about upkeep of the family, upkeep of the people. It ain't about getting ahead, getting that extra, skimming the cream off the top. It's about managing and husbanding the resources so that they continue to be available to us all. In Austria, or in Vienna, in Austria, fam, people, rich people, poor people, everybody can get into public housing, to social housing. Now, I know that would take some political action here in the United States to make happen. And you're thinking, shit, we can't even get politicians to look at us. Maybe if you're talking about on a national level for now, the politicians tell us to go fuck ourselves. But on a local level, politicians are still somewhat beholden to you, fam. So how can we translate something like the Vienna model of housing to us as a people? Here's one way we do it. We use community land trusts. That's right. Community land trust is an American institution. You can incorporate them right here in the United States of America. And what they allow us to do is by the collectivization of resources, fam, right? By small little contributions by the people of the community. It allows us to be able to go to our local politicians with force, because those land trusts allow us to be able to go and lobby our local jurisdictions for changing in zoning laws, for first right of refusal, for new land acquisitions, and so on and so forth. And then once we get our hands on these plots and pieces of land, rather than sitting there and allowing speculators to come in and shift money around to, make more money and skim the cream off, what we do is we then build on these lands in our neighborhoods. We tear down these old single family homes that can't nobody even fucking afford no more, that are dilapidated, have rats and roaches and so on and so forth. We tear all that shit down and we put up beautiful, new, high-rise, accessible, communal properties. We actually build community. In Vienna, public or social housing isn't just the housing. It is also the immediate environment around. So communities will have parks and green spaces. Communities will have gardens and transportation to and from other communities that will be sponsored by their own little place. And because the profit motive, the need for us to be fucking individualist, hyper-capitalist bastards is removed from the equation, in order to maintain our communal properties, we actually will pay much less individually to do it. In Vienna, fam, the average person's rent, right, to maintain their spot in social housing is about 4% of their monthly income. So, family, to put that into perspective, my missus makes around $2,800 a month. All right. So 4% of her income would be about $112 a month in rent. When's the last time any of you been able? I'm serious. When's the last time any of you been able to pay $112 a month in rent? And not only in rent, but to have a place where that $112 a month maintains the property, maintains the quality of the infrastructure, the building, allows for maybe a little cushion. So let's, instead of say $112 a month, they raise our monthly rent up to $120 a month. And with that extra $8 a month, they put that aside in a fund that allows us to be able to actually gut the buildings and make them green if need to, or add more infrastructure so that we can reduce energy costs, make them more energy efficient. I'm so sick of Negroes telling us what we can't do. Thank you, Marjorie. I appreciate the love, sister. Welcome to the broadcast. You wanted a solution, fam? Here's a solution to our economic issues, at least a start to our solution to our economic problems. Number one, we are all one big Negro. We are one clan. We are a household. We are not a nation state. We can't operate with trade and this, that, and the third, fam. We don't have resources like that.
Work, Mark.
Thank you, sister. We are not a nation state. We're not holding on to copper mines and this, that, and the third. But what we are is a clan. We are a tribe. We are a family. We are one big Negro. Accept that. Embrace that. Number two, whatever economic interactions we have with each other have to not be capitalist in nature. We cannot continue to be operating like the capitalists around us do. It does not work. We lost the capitalism game ages ago. Stop playing it. Use the capitalists for whatever you can get from them. If you work, I'm not telling you to quit your job, keep working. If you got a small business, I'm not telling you to close your small business, keep rocking. But understand that as a household, the job isn't to sit here and live high off the hog to try to be the rich one. The job is to maintain the household. We need to be competing with each other in frugality, in thrift, being able to maximize how much resources we have as a household, as opposed to what actually is going out. The first thing we can do to start addressing this is to actually start owning our communities. And I'm not talking about owning our communities in this bootstrapper, you know what I'm saying, note flipping, money making sense. I'm talking about owning our neighborhoods forever and ever without the profit motive. We've discarded the profit motive when it comes to us. That no longer obtains. We are not capitalists. You can call us whatever the fuck you want, but we don't give a shit about capitalists. We'll play your capitalism game when we have to deal with you. With all these other outside people who are not members of our tribe, we'll play the capitalism game with them. But that's not us. For us, it's community, community, community. It is bringing as many of us together as you can. Think about this, fam. They got us fucked up thinking that housing projects, the social housing, is terrible. Why? Because they did it terrible here. They never meant for it to be beautiful for us here. But imagine, fam, what you could create if I gave you 100 acres of land in the center of Chicago and a blank slate and said, now build something for your community. Think about what you could build. Think about, even if there's high-rise towers and stuff like that, how clean they could be, how open they could be, with green rooftops, with wind panels, wind turbines and solar panels on top to help to reduce the overall outlay of Money that we got to pay the electric company. Imagine big central courtyards with green space and community gardens and shit. So you got people who ain't got jobs, don't matter. Guess what? We got a community kitchen. You come and help out in the community garden, we guarantee you 3 hots. And because this is community living, we gonna make sure you ain't that you ain't getting evicted. Because we're not trying to get paid off of your place. If you're able to pay us, if you have the resources coming in, then you pay rent. But if you don't have the resources coming in, then you don't. And your rent is not to make us rich. Your rent is just to make sure that we can continue to maintain this motherfucker. This is how you get it done, fam. This is how you get a good start. Right here. Everybody talking about we ain't got no solutions. We ain't got no solutions. Well, here's a solution right here. Here's just one of many. Here's another solution to our economics problem. We need fewer households. We need to have less people wanting to have their... Oh, look. Okay, fam. If you want to continue, I'll say it like this. If you want to continue to be under the thumb of the white supremacists, there's one easy way you can go about doing it. All you have to do is every time you raise a black child, the moment they turn 18, kick their ass out of the house and be like, good luck, nigga. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God blesses the child that got his own. I guarantee you, there's no sure way to ensure that we will remain under the thumb of the racist white supremacists than by continuing to kick your own fucking people out. We need unity. We need people to come together. And I mean that physically. I mean that literally. Think about this, fam. We are all one big Negro. So if I live with you and you live with me, what the fuck does that matter? If we live in the same place, the same room, what does that matter? Long as you got your little space every so often where you can just leave niggas alone. Because, you know, every so often we need our own little personal space, right? Maybe you want to go kick it somewhere, whatever, fine, right? As long as you got your own little personal space, what does it matter if you with me? But here's the crazy part. What do you profit by having me around? You need somebody to watch your kids. Why are you paying somebody to watch your kids? You got a whole goddamn family of people that could watch your kids. No, nay, you have a whole community of people that can watch your kids for you. But you sitting here struggling to pay $500 a month for child care. You got black people that ain't even got jobs who, if they was able to have a home of their own where they didn't have to worry about getting evicted because they didn't have a job, if they was able to have a motherfucking access to community kitchens because guess what? We built them. You think they would have a problem taking care of your kids while you go out here and deal with these motherfucking capitalists? Hell no. Oh, fam. But it gets better. It gets better. The communal living will by necessity bring communal action. Fam, I can't speak for you, but if I live in the same community as you, you literally live one door down from me, and I see you struggling, I can't fucking watch you struggle, fam. I don't care how much I don't like you. You live right there. I'm seeing you go through it. At the very least, I'm going to come and commiserate with you. And if I got any heart in me, I'm coming to help you. Imagine a family where we have communities where we've designed them from the ground up to not be based on the profit motive, not to create a space so capitalists can open up more fucking businesses and this, that, and the third, but where we actually showing love to the people. Imagine how difficult it would be for the motherfucking race soldiers to run up in a community where we 2,000 strong and do anything to us without being able to have hell to tell the captain making it up out of there. I remember living in the shitty ass projects I grew up in, and there was places in them projects them cops was scared to come. Why? Because they knew that if they came up in that motherfucker, they wasn't guaranteed to come up out. For us, it was safe. It was a fortress. But for them, it was a roach motel. You can check in, but you ain't checking out. You want to talk about being able to protect and defend our people against police brutality? The way you do that is by conglomerating. You have 4 high-rises with a central courtyard, single entry access, so we can be safe. We can make sure the people we want in there can come in, and the people we don't want to come in can't come in. We don't have cars running around where our babies is playing. We got places for them to run and play and be free. Cars park outside. A community where we own our own little buses, 1, 2, 3 buses. So sisters who need to go to the grocery store can be taken to the grocery store once, twice, 3 times a month. Everybody just mob up together. We all head to the grocery store. But guess what? If we gonna do that, we might as well have our own little community kitchen. Sure, you want to cook at home, that's cool. Do your thing. Ain't nobody trying to take nothing from you. But guess what? Wouldn't it be nice if you don't feel like cooking tonight, then you can just go to the community kitchen where there's dinner, where there's lunch, where there's a snack. Somebody got a movie playing or some music going, slapping some bones, playing some spades. You niggas acting brand new trying to be mimetic white people. We ain't white people. We ain't never lived like that. Everything we've ever accomplished in this society, we have done it collectively. We have done it together. Period. We bought into a bill of goods that now, because of integration, we can just rip and run and go and do it whatever. Fam, we still the chickens. Do you know what you call a chicken running up the street? Put your answer in the chat. What do you call a chicken running up the street? I want to hear some answers from y'all, fam. What do you call a chicken running up the street? Don't have to be in the middle of the street, fam. Don't overthink this. What do you call a chicken running up the sidewalk, running up the street? That's right. You call it dinner. That chicken vulnerable to every time. It's vulnerable to dogs. It's vulnerable to a gaggle of cats. It's vulnerable to everything out there, fam. A runaway chicken is a dead chicken. We do better as a flock. We do better as a herd. You know what you call a sheep running through the trees by itself? You call that motherfucker lunch. As a numerically minority group of people in this country, to the extent we do not operate as a collective, we only make our individual selves vulnerable. And at some point, there is a breaking point. There's a breaking point. If enough of us are attacked and destroyed or blunted or put away or set aside or warehoused in prisons or locked up in nut houses or homeless, eventually there won't be enough of us left to be actually able to do anything. Our salvation lies where it always has lied, family. It lies in you and me together. We don't have to believe the same shit. We don't have to live the same way. We don't have to have the same lifestyle, the same preferences. We don't have to have none of that. We just have to understand that at the end of the day, when they look at you, they see chicken, they see me. When they look at you, they see one big Negro. They see me. When they look at me, they see you. That is the only thing required for us to operate in our common will, our common interests. We got to stop playing the capitalist game, fam. Wasn't for us from jump. It ain't for us now. Motherfuckers gonna call us names, tell us we socialists or communists and this, that, and the third. Gives a fuck what they talking about. What we are as a household. And we about surviving. We about elevating thrift, frugality, harnessing as much resources for the protection and the betterment of ours over everybody else. You know, just like any household would do. You got a son, and your son looking for a job, and you working, and you won't give your son a job? No, I don't believe that. Of course you're going to give your son a job. So why is it any different than giving me the job? You got all these extra resources. Great. Why ain't you bringing that back? Why ain't you bringing that for the use of all of us? If I had extra, I'd be bringing it to you. One big Negro, fam. One household. We are all economists, household managers, stewards, right? I'm not saying we gotta hate anybody. We gotta necessarily, be talking about, fuck white people, fuck, none of that even matters. I'm talking about the facts. The facts is that we do better together. We will only succeed together. You can either accept that and act accordingly, or not accept it and face the consequences. But it remains true. We are one people, one tribe, and we have to operate together. And it cannot be about money. It cannot be about trade. We are not a nation state. We have no real access to any major degree of capital. What we need to do is utilize every opportunity to influence the system where we're able. So that means usually for us on a local level to to empower our organizations like our community land trusts to change zoning laws, to organize together to create multi-family, multi-structure, multi-unit communities. I don't care about living in no house. I care about being alive. I care about you being alive. And if that means you being alive and me being alive means we neighbors staying in the same housing block, I'm with it. I come knock on your door and visit you and say, what's up? I'm with that. I don't need no big ass house to convince the whole world that I'm some head Negro in charge. What I need is my people. What I need is you and me. And we can have that in communal, multi-family structures. We can have them in our vision of what Cabrini Green was supposed to look like, right? We can have that in our vision of what Pruitt-Igoe projects was supposed to look like, not what the white folks' visions was, some place where they just warehouse Negroes until they get tired of them. No, we can actually build from the ground up our own communities. Imagine this, family. I just mentioned community land trust in the city. What if a group or multiple groups of Negroes got together and organized rural collectives? So we be out there farming and doing this, that, and the third. And rather than you and yours having to go to the motherfucking grocery store, you simply send a bus out and pick up goods from us. Y'all working, getting bread in the city, pay us a little bit of bread to be able to grow food and shit and have a place to stay out in the sticks. And we'll make sure everybody's icebox stay full. And we ain't had to give a dime to none of these crackers. I can grow cows just like they can grow cows. I can raise a chicken just like they can raise a chicken. I can do hydroponics just like they can do hydroponics. And I'm not even asking you to pay me. Fam, do you see the power in what I'm talking about? When we understand economics the way we need to understand it, when we're not talking about, you gotta spend with my business, brother, because we gotta support each other. We gotta support black business. No, what they usually mean when they say support black business is you give me money, I get a come up, and then I go give white folks money. No more of that shit. If we a household, what I look like empowering you to diminish the household? There's more. Sister Sherry said, look up Our Daily Bread for an example. It's on YouTube, right? I mentioned a community that does this right now. Now, they are a religious community, right? But they're a model. It's a Christian communal group called the Bruderhof. They live together and they hold all things in common. They have communal businesses where they all work, making playground toys and shit like that. And in return, they pay for everything. They have their own communal housing systems. They pay for their own members to go to college and study the shit that they need. They're not sitting there saddling each other with college loans that they got to pay back. They need a nurse. They send somebody to nursing school and the whole community pay for it. And in return, that nurse come back and take care of their people. And ain't nobody exchanging no money. How do we create this sense culturally? Good Lord.
How do create this sense culturally? I know they're white, but the Amish are a great example. Barn raising videos are impressive as hell.
Absolutely, fam. How we create this as a culture is actually the one thing that remains that I can actually give credit to the hashtag movement and its founders for, because they literally gave us the key. For a community to be organized in the way that we're talking about, the community has to have something that goes beyond the individual members of the community. In other words, if it's just about, I'm going to build an intentional community with people I like and this, that, and the third, it's doomed to failure, right? The communities that are grown organically, that survive, are the ones that have an ideal that they live for or that they organize around that's bigger than the individual members, right? So for the Amish, it's their cultural accretion, right? They're literally Germanic peoples for the most part, except for converts, which are very few. And so they have their cultural heritage, plus they're organized around their religion. The same with Bruderhof. Bruderhof organizes around the principle of the early church in Acts, where nobody, where they lived together, they ate together, and nobody held anything as their own. They lived in common. They imitate the initial Christian church in Acts. Well, for us, it's lineage. It is the fact that we are tied as one people to the same people. That's our overarching goal. That's the greatest weapon that we can utilize in everything that we do, because it's the one thing that no matter what, we hold in common. The German word that I spoke of, Bruderhof. Give me just a second. Whoops, sorry. There we go. And you can look them up. I believe they have a website, just to give you something to dream on tonight. Here we go. I'll copy a link to their website and you can check it out. The Mormons are another example. Hell, the Mormons religiously, fam, are so obsessed with family that they believe that as family members, they live together in the afterlife. Fam, you want to talk about the power inherent in claiming to be a household, in claiming to be a tribe, in claiming to be one people and cleaving to each other? The Mormons are right now the largest real estate holders in America. And hell, at the rate that their church is growing, they probably will be some of the largest real estate landholders on the planet. And for them, family is everything. The group is everything. The thing is that we don't have to bring this into our culture. The seeds for this communal action is already there. What we need to do, fam, is we need to have enough of us with the courage to set up prototypes. Right? You know, I tend to talk about science a lot. Right? Talk about engineering and science a lot. So to put this in language that my black sheep will understand is we need to create a prototype. We need to actually show our communities, our larger community, our tribe at large. We need to show them the efficacy of ideas. Right? Exactly. There's a Muslim community up in upstate New York. It's Islamburg. Now, they're organized around religious principles. Again, an idea that's larger than themselves, which helps them to squelch down the bullshit and the drama and this, that, and the third, right? Well, we have that weapon too. We have an object too that don't require us to believe, worship the same God, that don't require us to dress the same way or talk the same way or even necessarily live the same way. We have our lineage, our heritage, as the descendants of the formerly enslaved here in the United States. That's our organizing principle. That's our network protocol. That's what allows us to be able to communicate with each other and be on the same goddamn page. Thank you, Brother Morpheus. I appreciate you, fam. It don't matter what acronym or any of that shit that you want to utilize. None of that matters, fam. Because as long as it's saying the same thing, as long as it's saying that you and I together are one big Negro. We are the descendants of the formerly enslaved here in the United States. We are the complete opposition, the absolute implacable, unwavering opponents of racism, white supremacy, and we will have our due. That's all we need. That is all we need to do the work. But we have to have somebody willing to create a prototype. We gotta have something that we can point to that is a tangible, that is measurable, that is go, no go, success, failure, pass, fail, yes, no. Too many times we sit here and we try to proselytize other Negroes with words when we actually need to be showing other Negroes through action. I'm from Missouri. The nickname for Missouri is called the Show Me State. I grew up hearing all the time, I can show you better than I can tell you. That needs to be another aspect of how we move. Fuck the rhetoric. Fuck the talking. It's great. Don't get me wrong. We need to be hashing out ideas and shit like that. But at the end of the day, somebody got to have enough fucking courage to step out there and actually do some shit. So we don't need to inculcate this into our people's culture. The seed of it is already there, fam. We have not completely forgot what it was like to live communally. Do you understand? We haven't forgotten it. We're forgetting it. But we have not forgotten what it was like to go and knock on your neighbor's door.
Preach. Up pointing finger. Fire.
Thank you, Sister Toolbox. We have not forgotten what it was like to go and knock on our neighbor's door and ask for a stick of butter or a cup of sugar. We joke about it still because we know it's the truth. We have not forgotten, but we're forgetting, and it is to our detriment because we cannot play the capitalism game. We cannot do economics the way they understand it. They want to trade and play masters of the fucking universe and shuffle paper around all goddamn day and tally it up on notional sheets as value. Let them. For us, there's only three things that have value. our people, whatever resources we can get our hands on, and our continuity. That's it. And guess what, fam? None of that shit costs money. None of that costs money. For you and I to be one big Negro don't cost us nothing. It's free. It's absolutely free. And we do nothing but gain from it. For you and I to operate collectively in our mutual best interest, commonwealth, doesn't really cost us nothing, and it does nothing but give to us. It's a gain. It's a net gain. Coming together from these separated, atomized, vulnerable, individualized households into real fucking communities can cost us very little in actual money and resources. But fam, what we could gain with the renewed sense of connection, with the renewed sense of the capability of taking care of one another, right? For maintaining whatever we get rather than giving it away. Fam, that's priceless. It's priceless. The only reason why places like Tulsa and Rosewood and all that failed is because the white supremacists understood the power of us ultimately learning to work with ourselves. It wasn't that they were threatened by our capitalism, though. A lot of people say, oh, black people was making it. No, we wasn't. We were struggling like a motherfucker to be capitalists like the white folk. We thought if we could be capitalists like them, we'd be all right. They wasn't going to let that happen. They've made it clear that whatever economics look like to black people, it better not involve too much goddamn capitalism. So guess what? This is a win for us. By eliminating the profit motive and the need to try to stack up extra to skim off the top to make some motherfucker fat cat rich, fam. Boom. To start doing shit communally makes it possible for every other area of human activity that we want to operate in. Makes it possible for us to do it in those other areas. But fam, I can guarantee you that if we don't operate communally, then nothing we seek to do in any of the other areas of human activity we do will be successful. Nothing. If we don't operate communally, fam, nothing we do in any other community in any other area of human activity will be successful. Because going forward, I'm going to talk about not just economics, but I'm going to talk about labor. I'm going to talk about politics, how we can get shit done really politically, solutions. I'm not talking about no more fucking problems. I'm talking about solutions. Not the solutions, but some solutions. Fam, like Sister Sherry said, squatters' rights, or what they call adverse possession. I've done entire broadcasts, fam, talking about adverse possession. You sitting here waiting on them motherfuckers to give some land available? No. You go there and you take it. And make them throw you off of it. If enough of us did that, they couldn't even stop us. Especially if we did a subsequent organized political push to be able to make the land ours legitimately. How do you think the motherfuckers around us did it? They planted a flag, said a prayer, and picked up the gun and said, come take it if you can. We could do that too. There's a whole host of ways, fam, that we can start to build an economy where we're actually economizing, which means maximizing our gains from our efforts and minimizing our efforts. Sister Sherry said the Homestead Act. How come we can't be advocating for this in the areas in which we and say, okay, you know what, fine. it's not reparations, but how about you give a plot of land to us and start building up our own shit? We don't need the whole city. We just need a few square blocks. How many black people can we put on a few square blocks if we got beautiful high-rise towers, where we got green tech there, where we got green spaces and safe places where people are able to live and eat and work and sleep communally and peaceably? How much room do we need? We don't need to be sprawled all the fuck out, vulnerable. Nah, fam, we don't need that at all. I'm going to open up the line, fam. 360-602-2667 is the number. Fam, I meant what I said about us having to have a come to Jesus moment. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about it now. Not at all. But after this series of videos that I do, I'm going to give you a suitable time to review them, because I'm doing videos wringing my brain dry, distilling the ultimate essence of all the areas of human activity as I understand them in my 48 years on this planet. Not from no white perspective, not from no universal perspective, but from a goddamn nigga perspective, from a Negro perspective, from a descendant of the formerly enslaved perspective. I'm going to lay every bit of understanding I got out and solutions. But at some point, somebody going to have to stand up and actually be willing to do this. 360-602-2667 is the number. Fam, y'all getting it in the chat, by the way. I couldn't be more proud. Y'all are doing the damn thing. Big Unk said, think outside the box. What I've seen from the communal type entities is successful ones combine a minimal amount of capitalism with their own system. Facts. Facts. Big Unk, that's exactly it, bruh. They do capitalism when they deal. So like the Amish, they call outsiders the English, right? So if you're either Amish or you're English. It don't matter, white, black, Asian, Latino, or whatever. When they deal with the English, they deal with them. They deal in money. They deal in trade. But when they deal with the community, ain't no money involved. They do a barn raising, they have a barn up in a day. They can put up a family house in a day. They can put up fencing along acres and acres of land for their cattle in a day. Ain't nobody exchanged a dollar. A simple little outlay of some resources that they cop from the English, you know, maybe some fencing wire and shit like that. They done already cut the posts. And they unify their efforts together. And now they got a whole new Amish farm, a whole new Amish household. A lot of y'all don't know it, but for all the shit y'all be talking about, black capitalism, black communalism will make motherfuckers rich. Fam, a lot of you are not aware of this, but the Amish is paid. Yeah, I said it, fam. Them Amish folk, there's some poor Amish. That's to be true. You got poor people among every group. But fam, them Amish motherfuckers got bread. Do you understand me? Bread. Think about, they've been in this country for like 200, almost 200 some odd years. Do you understand? The Amish. They came here real early. And for 200, almost 200 some odd years, they've operated with the mentality that if it don't come from us, it ain't got no value. We'll take from the English whatever we need to take from them to get whatever we need for us. And every bit of resources that they've been able to accumulate and harness, they've been passing down to Amish from generation to generation to generation to generation, watching it increase in value. Guess what else the Amish have been able to do? The Amish have been able to avoid all the entanglements and bullshit with Uncle Sam and his wasteful ass wars and destruction and rapine all across the globe. The Amish say, religiously speaking, I can't fight in your wars. And Amish will smile in your face, stick their hand out, take your money in a heartbeat. But when do you ever see them spend it? They make every single fucking dollar count, not just for their individual families, but for all Amishmen. They never know when a brother is gonna need $1, so they're not wasteful with it. Every single dollar in the Amish community has a meaning. Every single dollar means the difference between an Amishman eating and an Amishman not eating. That's the attitude you need to have. Every bit of resources, fam. Every bit of resources is the difference between your brother and sister eating and not eating. Nah, Cynthia, we can't. At least not in the way you think. Don't worry, though. I'm going to get to it. Because there is a way. The Amish own Lehman's. Lehman's is one of the biggest businesses out there nowadays. They sell all, hand-powered, handcrafted goods. So y'all know homesteading is all that big and shit like that. Homesteading's a big thing now. Lehman's is the supplier of homesteaders. Yeah, fam, don't sleep on the Amish. I don't. And I don't hate the Amish. Fam, don't hate. Imitate. We are lucky, fam. I don't say this often, but I think it warrants saying. We are the only people, the only ethnic group in this country that has the opportunity to change our culture. Why? Because our culture, to a great extent, is acculturation. We have borrowed bits and pieces based off of our circumstances to create a culture. But what this means is that we are a new people. We're not necessarily hidebound to tradition and shit like that. Meaning that we could take the best of everybody's ideas, the best of everybody's culture, and just simply steal it. Just simply take it. The Amish do something we like. Shit, I'm Black Amish. In that respect, the Latinos do something I like. Damn it, I'm Black and Latino today. I'm taking they shit. They don't have no problem with borrowing what they think is best from our culture. Well, guess what? I'm stealing every goddamn thing from their culture I want. Exactly. Use the examples that work and that are good and leave the rest of the bullshit behind. Fam, I'm telling you, there's so many examples of how to get it. And no, don't say it's because the Amish is, I know some of y'all thinking it's because the Amish is white. Sure, them being white might play a small role, but even white people look at Amish people as strange. No, it's because Amish people don't fuck around with non-Amish. They will take as much as they can from the English, give out the barest minimum to the English, and share all resources with their brethren in Christ. Sounds like a winner fucking me. Imagine us organized to where we take as much from this society as we can, giving as little of it back, and everything we got, we share amongst our lineage, amongst our tribe. You ain't got to tell me, Sister Sherry. I know some Amish. They don't like them either. Like I said, they call them English, and they be talking shit about the English, meaning other white folks that are not Amish. Amish ain't fans of theirs. Shit, Amish don't just make good furniture, fam. They do value adds for agricultural products, like they process honey. They have honey farms, honeybee farms.
Fair exchange isn't robbery.
Facts, double C's. Man, they do all kinds of shit. And check this out, fam. The real strict Amish don't even use power. How is it that black people can't organize and we still got access to the light company, to the water company, and so on and so forth, you dig? Right? The Amish don't even use power. Some of them won't even have running water in their house, fam. The technology the real strict Amish use ain't changed since the motherfucking 17th century, fam. But organized around the one principle that unites them all, and seeing the brotherhood of themselves, seeing themselves as one big Amishman, they've been able to manage to thrive. I have no problem figuring out how to live with my brothers and sisters, my tribe's people, if I have to borrow the idea from somebody else. Fam, think about this. Those new communities we build, we can build domes in domed areas. Domes are good for protection against the elements and earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, right? We can do all sorts of shit. Together, there isn't really much we can't do. And that's really white supremacy's biggest fear, fam, is that we'll figure out that by coming together, by actually seeing ourselves the way they see us, as one big Negro, and acting accordingly, meaning there is no delineation between you and me. There is us. There is we. We are one big ass Negro. D-Will, there's ways to do outhouses that don't stink. Look up composting toilets, fam. Yeah, they shining with Little House on the Prairie shit. We can upgrade a little bit. The rural communities that I'm talking about, can go out there on the land and literally build housing on the land from the land itself. There's all types of different natural building technologies. There's cob, there's rammed earth building. Rammed earth is just dirt reinforced with a little bit of concrete and rammed into a form, right? Cob is clay, water, sand, and straw mixed together in loaves to make shapes and shit. Know what I'm saying? You get a mill, a little portable wood mill and a wood lot. You can build cabins out there. There's all sorts of shit you can do out there on the land. We can upgrade from the Amish and still live mad comfortable and still provide resources to our brothers and sisters in the cities. We don't have to be out there on no Little House on the Prairie shit. I personally wouldn't mind it, but we don't have to be out there like that. Personally, I wouldn't give a fuck if we was out there living in skin tents and wearing grass skirts, as long as I was with my people and we was free. How bad do you want it, fam? That's what I'm saying. Like, how bad do you want liberation? Because I'm willing to eat mud cakes and wear grass skirts if it means I'm with my people and I'm free. And we don't even have to go that hard. We don't even have to go that far to be free. We don't even have to go that route. We don't have to wear grass skirts and eat mud cakes. We just need to actually do what we've always known to do, which is that, nigga, you, me, and I'm you. And I'm sorry if that scares some of y'all, man, because I realize there's a lot of black people that don't want to be connected to no other black people because they don't like blackness. I get it, fam. I get it. Sister Cynthia said I look terrible in the grass skirt. I bet you don't. I bet you rock the shit out that grass skirt. Shit. Let us fix this motherfucking household of ours. Let us heal our household. It's about time. And the best part about it is we can do it. We don't have to tell people about it. We don't have to make a big fucking production about it. We simply join together, enact the plan, and make it happen. That's all we do. Black people need to understand that your enemy should only know what you're doing when it's a fait accompli, when it's a done deal. We don't need a bunch of fucking white publicity and people kissing our ass and what up ADOS roots. We don't need, they acceptance and white liberals patting us on the head and this, that, and the third. Man, fuck them. What we need is action. They can come and pat us on the head about it after we done presented it as a fait accompli, after it's done. Sister Strongflower said everybody's health would improve dramatically. Sister Strongflower, there are estimates that simply living under racism / white supremacy in the United States of America knocks 10 to 15 years off of a black person's lifespan. Seriously, fam, just living around these motherfuckers trying to play the capitalism game and trying to play the respectability game knocks 10 to 15 years off your motherfucking life expectancy. Just on a humbug. Just from the stress. Just from the cortisol. Just from not being able to fucking exhale. Let's build our own communities up. Not to try to profit. No more of this giving passes to Negroes who try to profit off of other Negroes. Leave us the fuck alone. You want to sell products and services and start you a business, black man, black woman, I support it. Don't market to us. Market to them crackers. They the ones that got the money. Market your products to Asians. They the ones that got the bread. Don't sit here and shit on us. You want to be entrepreneurs to open up a business? Fine. Sell that shit to the English. And then come back and bring the resources home to your family, to your peoples. You're going to castigate black people because they won't shop with you when black folk ain't got nothing. It's not that we don't want to shop with you. We can't call it. If I ever open a business, I'm not marketing to a single black person. I'm marketing my motherfucking business to white folks, to Asian folks, to everybody else. They the ones with the bread. Take the booker's money. You gonna sit here and chastise and castigate your own people because they not bigging you up, eating off the people that ain't got shit. Your business idea is so great, it should be able to stand up right out there with them bucker businesses. Market that shit to them. Don't market nothing to us. Come give us something for a change. How about that? How about you do your business and it's so goddamn successful and it takes off that you market shit to them and you give us ownership shares in it? How about you bring us something for a change? How about you take that capitalist mindset to the people that like to play capitalism and then come and share with us? Why we gotta kiss your ass and big you up to make you the exceptional Negro? Because even if we do it, you still a part of one big Negro. You still us. Black folk, if you got a business, I'm with you having it. But sell to every last one of these motherfuckers out here. Sell your shit to them, fam. I want you to sell every damn thing you can to these crackers. And bring those resources home to your folks. Stop putting the burden on us to lift you up. If we could lift you up, we would lift all of us up. You're not the exceptional Negro. I'm not here to cater to your fantasy of being the one that escapes, the rose that grows out of the mud. Hell, I'm trying to maintain a rose bush. I'm trying to see a rose bush grow. Stop having your problems with us because we ain't got enough to make your ass Jeff Bezos. Go market your shit to the Buckra. Go market your shit to Asians and Arabs. And then come and do something for us for a change. Give us something. Help us out. Help your people out. Help your family out. 360-602-267 is the number, fam. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all are getting it in the chat, by the way, and I love it. But somebody give me a call. Talk to a brother. This ain't just me talking at y'all. Living collectively is going to change the game for black folk. The more collectively we live together, the stronger we're going to become. It's as simple as that, fam. I don't even know how to explain it any other way than that. The more we live collectively, the stronger we become. Simple as that. You complain that we have nothing to pass down from generation to generation to generation. You're right. Because as long as you live in individual households, you ain't going to have shit to pass down from generation to generation. All you're going to leave is a bunch of debt. But now, if you are a part of a motherfucking community, even if you die, the community remains. Your kids ain't going to go hungry. They're going to have a place. They're going to have a people that's going to have their back. They're going to have somebody to help carry you and bury you, or carry your urn and cast your ashes to the winds. You build a community. You build an actual, legit, real community, and your kids don't have to worry about an inheritance. They can have their goodies while they live. What's up? What's up, Noel? I see you, fam. Welcome to the broadcast. Did you hear me, fam? You ain't got nothing to leave your kids because you keep trying to leave your kids only what you can accommodate, what you can accumulate. And we can't play the capitalism game, so of course you ain't gonna leave your kids shit. Our kids inherit dust. Why? Because we refuse to come together. We come together, our kids never have to worry about an inheritance. How do you need to inherit anything when it's already yours? You ever think about that shit? Fam, this economics thing, the way we need to understand it for us goes so much deeper than what I can talk about on this broadcast, fam. Let's talk about inheritance for a second. Black folk don't have anything to pass down from generation to generation economically, right? In other words, everybody else inherit big bread, big land, big everything, and our kids inherit dust. You ever stop to think, though, that inheritance itself is a foolish ass notion? You ever stop to think about the fact that maybe if we come together, we enjoy prosperity, peace, security, safety while we alive, but then the moment we have our seed, they born into that. So what do they need to inherit? Y'all so wrapped up in their terms for economics, for the way that they do economics, that you can't even see another way. But our people are dying from your failure of imagination. Why do black people even need to talk about inheritance? There is nothing to inherit when your kid is born owning everything, when they're born a part of the community, when they're born in a home, where they're born with access to food, where they're born with access to health care, where they're born with access to love, care, concern, consideration, where they're born with access to education. They don't even need to fucking inherit nothing. You don't even need to worry about your legacy, black man, black woman. Come, you want a legacy? You want to be able to leave your kids something instead of dust? Come together. That's all you got to do. Come together and act like the one big Negro that you are. And the moment you have a seed, your kid is born into their inheritance. You don't have to leave it to them. They are born into it. In the way they do economics, you have to die to get access to shit. So the way we should do economics should be that you're born into shit. You're born into your inheritance. You don't have to die. Somebody don't have to die for you to get it. We not white folks. In our community, you should be born into your inheritance. You shouldn't even have to worry about what you're going to leave your kids when you die. Because you guess what? Your kids are our kids. And since we've worked as a community, and since our efforts were greater than the sum of our parts, and since we were about maintenance, we were about sustenance, we were about husbandry, we were about stewardship and service, not about who was making the most money or who was the head Negro in charge. Guess what? Your kids don't have to worry about an inheritance. Because the moment they was born into what's theirs. I told you, fam. I want y'all to take the next week before I broadcast again next week. And I want y'all to spend some time thinking what this new understanding of what economics is for us. Household management, right? The management of the resources of the one big Negro. And I want you to just sit there and dream and see all the ideas that pop up. But everybody quick to tell us we ain't got no solutions. They want to throw us all these problems, all these issues we got, but we ain't got no solutions. Bullshit, fam. All we had was a misapprehension. We didn't have the right understanding. We were using the words, but they didn't mean what we thought they meant. If you do economics like the Booker and their pets, you will continue to be on the bottom. You do economics like I just talked about tonight, and you are free. You are free. Your kids will be born into their inheritance rather than having to wait for you to die for them to have it. Your communities will be safer, stronger, cleaner, more healthful, more restful, more peaceful. Them white folks talking about they want to see healthcare be a human right, housing be a human right. Why don't we show them what it could look like? Why don't we show them? Why don't we build communities where housing is a human right, where nobody got to get kicked out because they ain't got the rent? Because guess what? We ain't about the motherfucking rent. We are just about maintaining this shit. We don't need your rent this month, fam. Go out there and see if there's another way that you can get some extra resources from the Booker. Come back with your rent when you got it. Exactly, Unsunken. When stakes is high, by the way, is right too. He said you could break the master's house using the master's tools. You're damn right. But you can also throw them motherfucking tools away and build a different house with different tools. And Unsunken One said we only want bling to feel white or the approximation of such. Facts. I couldn't give less than a fuck about bling. I really can't. Not if it means that I have to do without my people. Not if it means that my homeboys out on the street sleeping on the street instead of sleeping in a place. You know, fam, if you want to bling up something, let's bling up our communities. How about that? Let us build up these beautiful ass communities with wonderful green spaces, where the air clean, where we make motherfuckers park outside our shit so our kids can play everywhere and anywhere, all over it, where we can get together any time of the day and night and know we safe. We want to get together at 2 o'clock in the morning and play a game of spades on the weekend. We could do that and do it in peace, where there ain't no motherfuckers out there gunfighting and battling in the streets and shit because of poverty. Poverty is a real thing, but poverty is also perception. You want to build a community of rich folk, then build a community for rich folk. I'm serious, fam. I'm serious. If you want to build a community of rich folk, build a community for rich folk. Right? Instead of, when we talk about communal living, it don't have to be just boxy ass. We can paint them shits, color them shits. We can light them up. We can have art all over the place. Growing beautiful flowers and shit. Fam, I can't speak to you, but if I come home to something that look like that, I'm going to be so glad to come home. It's ridiculous. I come home smiling and everybody like, what's up, fam? Feel good to be at home. Shit, I'm hungry. I don't feel like cooking tonight. I'm going over to the community center. I know they got food over there. And go in there and get you a hot meal and kick it with your peoples. And ain't nobody stressing. All the kids that ate today. And good wholesome food from community gardens that we done grew. Oh shit, guess what? And we just got a shipment of meat from the brothers and sisters out on the farms. Yeah, we just got a shipment of chickens and shit in. Ain't nobody got to buy nothing, by the way. It's part of the community kitchen. You want some chickens? Come down to the community kitchen. We're going to be cooking up chickens. We're going to be doing the whole nine. We're not bound by the failure of other people's imagination. You care to elaborate on that? I'ma love, since you want to come in here and possibly derail the conversation. What the fuck you mean wishful thinking? Fam, don't feed the trolls. I'm talking to I'ma love. I'ma love, before I boot your ass out of here, right? I want to give you an opportunity to develop your thought that this is wishful thinking, that communal living with black folk is wishful thinking. I'd like for you to develop that thought. So you got about 30 seconds to call into that number, 360-602-2667, and we can have a conversation. I'm not going to denigrate you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to listen to you. You are trying to make the point or argue the point that this is all wishful thinking. I'd like for you to elaborate upon that for the family. So this way, if I'm wrong, we can focus on something else. 360-602-2667 is the number. Because if you don't call in here in the next 30 seconds, I'm booting your ass. We don't feed trolls, fam. I'm sorry, I'ma love. I don't hear the phone ringing. Yep. Sister Strongflower and somebody else mentioned earlier about Israel in the kibbutzim. The kibbutzim. The kibbutzim in Israel are communal living communities owned in common by the members. There's a lot of Israelis that grow up on the kibbutzim. Believe it or not. There's a lot of Israelis that grow up on the kibbutzim. Look it up, fam. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. This isn't hard what I'm talking about doing. We just have to have a few people willing to build a proof of concept. We need to show our people how it's done. We are going to need to build a community. That's all. We don't have to sit here and proselytize Negroes. We don't have to browbeat Negroes. We don't have to try to convince Negroes. What we got to do is show them how it's done. And I'm not talking about building up a community so we can sit here and talk about how we the super Negroes and you motherfuckers just don't understand and this, that, and the third. No, it's build up a community as a seed, as proof of concept. And say, fam, just like we did it, you can do it. And we will give you everything you need to get it done. Because I got an idea for those rural communities where we call them seed communities, where a rural community of our people grow until they have enough to take care of themselves plus one more. Oh shit, I got a call. Let's do this. Caller from 413. It's your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Mark? Man, this is Double C, man.
Double C's. What's good, fam? What you think about the topic we're talking about today, man? I told you I had something for your ears that was gonna make you happy, fam.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I know that everything you're seeing is possible because I had a friend whose grandfather had a vision to create his own community.
Yep.
So what he did was he got a bunch of land, technically created his own compound for him and his family.
Yep.
For generations to come. Here in this land, granted, he was a Nigerian immigrant. But when he came here, he had a vision.
Yep.
So it's possible.
It's definitely possible, fam. It's not, matter of fact, it's not even it's not even so much as possible. When you understand the way that we've talked about economics today, Cease, because I want to ask you, right? Because I got you on the phone. The way that I shared what economics is today, is that something you've ever heard of? You've ever heard any black people talk about economics the way that I mentioned economics today? Now, I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm asking for a specific reason.
The closest that came to that was that Nigerian grandfather. That was the closest. But you were more in debt with yours. You actually, it was digestible, but you went more in debt than he did.
The reason why I did that, Cease, is because of this. These videos that I promised y'all in the start of the new year was going to be the distillation of, I'm a nerd, right? I'm a human computer, man. I study all the goddamn time, right? So my gift to my people is analysis, to actually take all that information that I've studied and be able to put it into something that we can actually do something with. So I'm pleased to hear that what you heard today was not only novel, meaning that it wasn't, it was new, but also that you feel confident that is something that we can actually do. See, I know your frustration, fam. I know you get tired of hearing Negroes talk about problem after problem, situation after situation, but don't never bring us nothing to do, fam. Are you willing, however you're able to, right? I'm not going to demand no commitment from you, but are you willing to investigate the possibility of being a part of a proof of concept, of being a part of a community that is looking to build for our people, that we can duplicate, that we can replicate, that we can show our people? My man. See? This isn't hard. This isn't hard, fam. This shit is super possible to do. Super possible. Matter of fact, I would argue that in many ways, building rural communities for black folk are actually easier than building, communities in the city, because of gentrification and all of that. They're trying to raise the price of the value of land in the cities and shit. It actually would be much easier for us to go out into the sticks and build whole entire fucking communities. Fam, you think that's crazy? Wait till I start talking about politics in rural communities and how we can actually go out there and change state politics by constructing our own fucking communities. Oh, fam, I got so much more for you, Cease. You don't even know, fam.
I can't wait to hear it. But every other community has done it over the years. Generational families, generational communities. As you mentioned, the Amish have done it. Asians have done it. Spanish people do it now.
Hell yeah.
See, here's the thing. Individualism, because now certain cultures will isolate themselves from everybody else, and we've adopted that. We've been indoctrinated with that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I would be by myself. To the degree I have, because I'm like, I want to be by myself. I don't bother nobody. Bad way to be. But the community thing that's been decades. And matter of fact, I will argue that's part of our bioevolution. I might saying that word wrong. It's in our biology to be a community.
It sure in the hell is, fam. I mean, this is not rocket science I'm talking about, but it's an understanding that we are rapidly forgetting in our push to try to be like everybody else. One thing that I said I can give Yvette and Antonio credit for is the idea that we are not everybody else. We are our own ethnic group. We are our own lineage. We have our own heritage, and we have our own ways of doing things. And as the newest ethnic group in the world, we actually have an opportunity to create our own culture to a great extent. People say, how do we inject different ideas into our culture? It's simple. We do it. We do these things. We actually do these cultural things. And that's how we incorporate. Like when a group of Negroes see another group of Negroes doing something, Monkey see, monkey do, fam. That's how every primate learns. Monkey see, monkey do. What do you think is going to be more effective, Cease? Us sitting up here doing YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, preaching at niggas at what they need to do, or actually just going out and doing this shit and showing our brothers and sisters what they need to do?
It's easier to go show the work and do the work.
Boom.
This is why I go by the 3 C's in life. 3 C's: choices, chances, and change.
Facts.
If you don't make a choice to take a chance, nothing will ever change.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, damn, fam. ADOS Roots in the chat said, pool our welfare benefits and kickstart some shit. Fam, he doesn't even know. Y'all don't even know how powerful of an idea that is. There are religious communities right now that struggle. So while they're struggling, they qualify for public benefits. But instead of taking those public benefits and trying to support each individual family, they take those public benefits, the welfare checks, the WIC vouchers, the food stamps, and they take care of the whole goddamn community. Uncle Sam owes us a debt. So until they pay it, why aren't we looking to do shit like that?
We're not looking because, once again, we're too individualistic. Get all we can all we get for ourselves. Damn everybody else, I got mine. It's the I got mine mentality.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And that shit is killing us, fam. It's killing us.
I mean, we've become, especially this, maybe I'm old adult not to see it differently, but we've become so selfish to the point it's like, well, I don't want to be bothered with nobody. I don't want no children. I'm not helping the next man. I got my, well, they didn't know what my pain, my struggle, what I went through. Why do I have to help out? Is all that is mixed in, and it's killing us slowly.
You know what? The death of 1,000 cuts of white supremacy, and I've talked about this before. The death of 1,000 cuts. We don't talk about how many of the wounds are self-inflicted. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like the arch conservative and blame niggas for everything we face. That's bullshit. It's not true. White supremacy is a thing. Racism is a thing. Institutional, systematic degradation and keeping us as the bottom caste is a thing. But alongside that, we have to look at where we cut ourselves, where we're slashing in our own skins, right? Where we're sitting here torturing ourselves where we don't have to. Like, we don't need to sit here and fight white folks for old dilapidated neighborhoods that never served us in no good stead anyway. To the extent that we can get control over land in the cities, let's do it. Let's utilize community land trusts and things like that, right? But we can also go out into the more rural areas and start to build seeds out there so that we can start to husband our resources and accumulate resources over generations that ultimately allows us to make the moves that we need to make. Amish people live simple, but they can afford to go and live like the richest white motherfuckers that's out there if they want to. Why? Because every Amish person is born into their inheritance. They don't have to wait for someone to die in order to get an inheritance. They are born into it. You see what I'm saying? They do it completely different than them. They understand economics as a minority group the way it works for them. They don't sit there and try to play the capitalism game with each other and get mad because you ain't spending money with me. No, they go get money from the English and then they come and utilize that money to grow both me and you. Right? They you see what I'm saying? They do it completely fucking different.
Yeah. It's not about capitalism with them. It's about when it's the I don't want to say the rising tide rises all boats thing, but it's like, if I got it, you got it.
Exactly. Exactly. If I got it, you got it. Like, if I got food, you got food. Shout out to my Muslim brothers and sisters, because the hadith, right, in Sahih al-Bukhari, there's an hadith where the Prophet was related to have said that if there's food enough for one, there's food enough for two. And where there's food enough for two, there's food enough for four. In other words, if I got, we got.
Yeah.
Right? When you look at these religious groups, the most successful ones organize themselves as basically families. Now they have their own little individual, churches or Jamadi or whatever the case may be, right? Where you come and meet with the people that you with local, but go anywhere in the world up to another Muslim and say salam alaikum, and they're going to return the salam to you, right? Well, anywhere in this country, as a black man, anywhere in this country, as a descendant of the formerly enslaved here in the United States, I should be able to go anywhere where we are, and there's a meal waiting, there's a place to stay waiting, right? There's opportunities to hit the ground running waiting. But that's not going to just spring up out of nowhere. We have to build that infrastructure. We have to actually create that and foment that as a part of our culture. We need to do it so that other black people see it and know that's the rule. That's how you operate. You dig, C's? That's how we got to do it. That's how we got to do it. We have to make it and then hold other black people to that same standard. We say, nah, fam, we don't do that, where you gotta pay money here. No, that's not how it works, fam. You hungry, come in and sit down and eat. Now, if you got some time to stick around and help us put up a fence or two, we appreciate it. But you don't put in shit. You don't put in no money here. Your money no good here, right? Then when we go to where he at, bro, man, be like, oh, no, fam. Y'all money no good here. I remember y'all fed the shit out of a nigga when I came and visited y'all. I remember y'all put me up in a good place, to rest my head. And y'all treated me good as gold. Nah, fam, your money no good here. That's how you spread the culture. You spread the culture by living the culture.
Mennonites are good for that too.
What'd you say, C's?
Mennonites are good for that also.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, the Mennonites and the Amish all come from the same root religious group. They came from Jacob Ammons and Minnow and all that stuff. They were all these Anabaptists. If you study the history, they came from the Anabaptist branch of Protestantism, right? So it makes sense that the Mennonites and the Amish would operate in very much the same way because they have the same sort of theological underpinnings, if you will.
Oh yeah, because I went to the church a few times and it's like it's all family.
Absolutely.
And I remember, I was the only black person there.
Wait, but did they treat you funny style? Them Amish folk? No, no. Man, some of the nicest white folks I've ever had a chance to meet was Mennonites. Real talk. Oh, I was homeless, and a group of Mennonites used to come to this rescue mission that I used to go and get meals and shit at. Them Mennonite folk would come in handing out boxes of clothes, food. They would tell you about opportunities and shit. They wasn't even trying to convert you to their religion. They would just come and share shit with you. Some of the sweetest, nicest folk you ever want to meet. You know why they can afford to be like that? Because they're comfortable. Because they know they ain't losing nothing by doing something like that for you. Black folk are always muling for everybody, but we always on the edge of survival, always on the edge of starvation. Nah, we need to take that same energy that we've been giving to everybody else and turn that into ourselves for a minute. I don't want no black person that come in my presence to be hungry. I don't want no black person that come in my presence ain't got no place to live, to not have no place to rest their head. I don't want no black person who don't know how to read to leave me and not know how to read. You see what I'm saying, Cease? We live the culture. Yeah. We live this culture of sharing everything where if I got, you got. And that's how the culture propagates.
Mm-hmm. And you have to get back to that. But see, now you have to, like I told you before, the first white supremacist factor we got to kill, that's the one within themselves.
Yeah.
That's the first one they got to kill.
Yep, you're damn right. If you want to defeat white supremacy, you're going to have to kill the white supremacist in you. And the way you do that,
you don't got it in you.
The way you do that, Cease, is by turning and making your people supreme. You don't defeat white supremacy by making them supreme. You defeat white supremacy by putting your people at the top of the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
You defeat white supremacy through practicing black supremacy, but not where you diminishing or denying anybody else, but simply where you uplift your own. You take the energy that previously was directed at benefiting them, and you make that energy all about benefiting you and yours. It don't require hatred. It don't require no drama. It don't require no fighting, no bloodshed. Be willing to defend your own, uplift your own, support your own. And I'm not talking about in that capitalist sense of support. I'm talking about legit support. I'm talking about if you hungry, we gonna eat. Right? If you cold, we gonna get warm.
When I used to work at the shelter, I used to take brothers with me sometimes, Burger King or whatever. Let's go get something to eat, man. Let's have a conversation. Or whatever. We exchange knowledge because I learned a lot that way. They learned a lot from me. I learned a lot from them. There's one book called The Black Man's Bible, The God's 2020. Great book.
What's it called, Brother Cease?
The Black Man's Bible, The God's 2020. Hold on.
Can you pop the title in the chat?
Yeah, I will in a second, dude.
That's my man.
I will in a second.
But D. Will is right. We need places to heal, to be able to feel safe. But we have to build those places. And the only way we can do that is by turning inward. We don't have to be worried about what white folks is doing, what Asian folks doing. They're going to be what they're going to be. They're going to be what they're going to be until we have our final reckoning with them. Right? For now, take the same love, the same energy, the same efforts that you've been spending trying to be respectable to them, trying to be capitalist like them, trying to live in your own individual house like them, trying to have your own car like them, trying to have your own boat like them, and your own plane like them, and your own motherfucking Rolex like them. And take that energy and just be you. Be a part of the people you come from. Look at us with that loving gaze. Seek our acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to us. We the only motherfuckers that got you and ain't nobody else got you anyway.
All right. It's in the chat.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. The Black Man's Bible. I'm going to check that shit out tonight, Cease. As a matter of fact, as soon as this broadcast over, fam, I'm going to get that book and read it.
See.
And see, fam, do you see what Brother Cease did, though? We a clearinghouse for information. We wide open. Let the motherfuckers talk that shit about wishful thinking, about these Negroes just talking. Nah, fam, we about to show them better than we could tell them. This is an open. This is an open forum. An open clearinghouse for all information, for reparationists, for healers, for people who are looking to build, people who are looking to do the work. The Black Panthers ran a breakfast program. We are about to run breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm telling you, fam, we are about to run breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're about to show people how we can develop housing that lasts. We are not about to be sitting here worried about passing on anything to our children. For a change, our children are going to be born into their inheritance. They're going to be born into what is theirs from the moment they draw their first goddamn breath. And we don't have to be respectable. We don't have to be cared for and loved on by these motherfuckers out here. Nope. We are a completely different breed of ant, and we about to do it the way we do it. With the collective heart, with the collective mind, with the collective soul, with collective economic action, with collective political action, with collective entertainment, with it uplifts and entertains at the same time. Oh, you already know, fam. I got you. Matter of fact, Otis, you still got my information, right? You still got my email. If not, email me at blackoutcastmedia@gmail.com. Because I don't know if I still got your number or not, but we ain't connected in a minute. We got to get back together. We going to come at these motherfuckers. Fam, Cease, do you have something else you want to say, fam? I don't want to overtalk you.
Oh, no, no. I was making sure that I put the link for there's an Amazon link to the book if anybody's interested.
Oh, you know what, fam? Do me a favor. Under the broadcast in the comments, put the Amazon link in the comments so it's always there. Put the title, the author, and the link to the Amazon book or whatever, and boom.
All right, I'll put it in one more time.
No, you don't put it in the chat. Put it in the comments underneath the video. So you know where you post like comments on the video? I want it to be, I'm gonna pin it up to the top so that people can see that resource and hit it up.
All right. I'll do that, but hey, thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, brother. Always. Peace, fam.
Peace, man. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Fam, check this out. Collective economics is going to give us the foundation that we need to practice collective political work, collective spiritual work. Because yes, fam, even though we all have different religions, different, spiritual understandings, there actually is a way that we can organize together even around religious principles and shared interests. Right? Don't worry, I'm going to talk about that when I talk about the video on religion. Because that's also going to tie back into economics as well. Right? But fam, don't listen to nobody to tell you we can't do this. I don't want to hear no more from anybody that, we the bottom cast, we just don't have enough money. Bullshit. Because what we really need to do don't require that much money. But the gains, fam, what we gain from doing it is worth way more. Caller from 910, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Name is Jay, man. I'm calling out of Fayetteville, man.
What's good, fam? Hey, Fayetteville in the house. Holler at us, man.
Yeah, how's it going, man? I see you on the title, man. I just caught the tail end of your conversation. I see the title says economics.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct? Yes, sir. All right. I seen the tail end of your conversation. You was talking about just us having a collective heart and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
And the last time I called, I'm gonna reiterate this because it's extremely important to me. We have to have some type of foundation that we can build off of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I guess in my opinion, my humble opinion, I could be wrong, but I strongly believe in this. I guess the foundation we have to have is we can't skip that step of understanding what white supremacy is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to understand that. We have to teach our children that. Like, if we don't have that foundation, we can't identify who our friends and who our foes are. We can't identify, certain talking points that's thrown out to us, that can be perceived as something other than what's hurting us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, one thing that I kind of keep at the forefront of my mind is that saying from Neely Fuller. He said, if you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and what it does, everything that you think you understand will only serve to confuse you. He's absolutely right. At the end of the day, we have one enemy. That's white supremacy. And we need to understand that enemy frontwards and backwards in every area of human activity and how it operates, right? But I'll be honest with you, greater minds than mine are tackling that piece. Right? Like, there's a lot of great resources out there to help black people understand exactly what white supremacy is and how it operates in every area of human activity, right? But here's the thing. I have that same understanding, right? So I look to increase my understanding every day of what white supremacy is. But my mission or my ministry or my mission or whatever you want to call it is to develop solutions that allows us to be able to defeat, circumvent, prevent, and even tear down those aspects of white supremacy that we're able to affect. You see what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right. our people do need to understand white supremacy in all its forms, the 9-headed hydra that it is, because without that understanding, there's really very little we're ever going to be able to accomplish, right? But these steps that we're taking now, by understanding that we are one people and operating in collective fashion, is going to be the foundation of any activity, regardless of our understanding, right? Like, so in other words, what we're talking about today, we can do even if our people don't necessarily understand what white supremacy is, right? Like, there's nothing I talked about today that we can't do, even with brothers and sisters who are absolutely fucking clueless as to how white supremacy has affected us. You get where I'm coming from? So the thing is that I want to focus on simplifying action so that we feel comfortable and strong enough to actually take action. Do you feel me?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. The only reason why I brought that up, and you don't have to comment on this because you made it known on your last broadcast that was the last time you was going to address this. But it's relevant to this conversation because we was a force. What we had going on with all the movements, the hashtag movements, we was all a force. We was all on one accord.
Yep.
And what broke us up wasn't necessarily the petty beefs, because at the end of the day, I told you last broadcast, well, not the last broadcast, but before that it's up to us as the people to decide, okay, what's going to move and what's not going to shit.
Facts.
And with that said, what's up, man? With that said, because of certain people don't understand the concept of what white supremacy is, a lot of things broke down. A lot of people fell for certain stuff that shouldn't fall for. A lot of people just, kind of edge more towards people because of their personality.
Yep.
As Morpheus Unplugged would say. He touched on that on a whole bunch of his videos.
He sure did. A shout out to Morpheus, because Morpheus for a while was like, the lone dude at the border, you know what I'm saying? Just shouting out like, wake up, y'all, understand, you know what I'm saying? So big ups to Morpheus for that, because, Morpheus has been consistent in that if you understand white supremacy, you're right. There's a lot of shit that happens that we just won't get bopped by. Right? Like, we should have knew that under white supremacy, there are certain Negroes that are encouraged to run the whole head Negro in charge game, to create Messiah leadership and this, that, and the third, right? Because that's been a traditional path to a sinecure, right? I don't know if you're familiar with what the term sinecure is, but a sinecure is basically a safe place within a system, right? So let's say that you're a part of a business and you're able to get promoted to a place where they don't expect a whole lot of you, but you still get to keep your job. That's a sinecure, right? A lot of black folk under white supremacy are encouraged to go for their little ethnic sinecures, right? To go for their little safe space where they can be the little pet Negro of white supremacy and not have to face the full brunt of it. Because white supremacy don't have no problem with taking and making one or two or a few of us safe if it means that they get to attack the rest of us with impunity.
Right. I agree with that 100%. I do.
So the thing is that
respect your,
go ahead, fam.
I'm gonna respect your platform by coming up with a solution, as you would say, or I guess I dare my own. Would you agree? Let me ask you this question: would you agree that, let's say, 2 hours of propaganda, let's say a movie or a show, can do more damage to a mind than a whole day at school?
Oh, hell yeah!
All right, so I watched the movie American Scream. I asked Morpheus Unplugged to review it. Shout outs to you again, Morpheus Unplugged. Yeah. Shout outs to you too. You was the first person I seen who reviewed it. I seen it for myself. I didn't like it.
That movie pissed me off so bad, fam. I refuse to review it because I don't want my people subjected to that bullshit.
Oh yeah, but the craziest part about it is a lot of people was praising it. If you look on YouTube, a lot of more people was praising me, but that shows me that a lot of people don't understand what's going on. You know, a lot of people was just in it for the ride or in it for the entertainment or whatever the case may be. So,
you know, the thing with American Skin and movies like it and entertainment like it is that entertainment is a mirror, right? And I'm gonna talk more about this in my video on entertainment because, like I said, I'm addressing every area of human activity, right? But to give you a little bit of a taste of kind of what I'm gonna discuss, entertainment is a mirror. Right, what we find entertaining says more actually about who we are and how we think and what we operate under than it does about the entertainers, right? Like, for example, if you look at the old vaudevillian blackface bullshit, that actually said more about white folks and how they think and how they operate than it ever said about us. Sure, it was designed to use us as a caricature, but what blackface held up a mirror to white America that if people were perceptive could see key insights into the mind of our enemies had we paid attention. But what often happens too much in entertainment is that people allow entertainment to only be engaged by their emotions when we are whole people. Entertainment needs to be intellectual, it needs to be physical, it needs to be emotional, it needs to be holistic. And our understanding of entertainment and aesthetic also needs to engage the whole person. It needs to engage us physically. It needs to engage us, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you believe in that sort of thing, right? So it needs to be holistic. And you are absolutely right. Our kids can listen to a bullshit teacher in school for 8 hours, come home and think however they want to think. But they can go and see a 2-hour movie and completely change their entire fucking way of viewing the world. That's some scary shit, and that's some shit that we need to take more control over.
You know what? We can control that, though.
Yep.
So, like, as a community, we can control that. With our buying power, our ability to put our money together with all this GoFundMe stuff, let's just say that movie American Skin didn't turn out a different way, the way you expected it to turn out. Hypothetically, how much of a spark do you think that would, cause within our community?
Yeah, or even better than that. Let's say that, entertainment doesn't just necessarily have to be, movies or technology or whatever. Shit, I remember I had a Japanese friend of mine, and he was a big fan of a type of Japanese theater called No. Right, Noh, No, and No is very ancient theater, right? Used to be watched by the muckety mucks in Japan, right? The upper crust, but No was about a bunch of different stories that were communicated using the stage. Why not build black theaters again, where we can have actors in our community or people who are inclined to act in our community go and put on our own plays and shit and invite our people to come and see stories being told, right? We don't have to wait on movie theaters and new big releases and distribution deals with MGM and all this and that to be able to provide entertainment and aesthetic to our people. Aesthetic can be right where we are.
That's the plan. We could distribute our movies underground, word of mouth.
Exactamundo.
You see what I mean?
But now here's the thing. Here's the thing. We got to have our economics straight. And I'll tell you why. Because currently as it stands, black artists can't afford to be artists. But if they were a part of a community where they knew they could eat, where they knew they could have a place to live, regardless of whether or not they was able to sell their art to the buckra, to the Asians, or any other pets of white supremacy, right? Then those brothers and sisters, imagine how free they would be to create the art forms and the aesthetic and the music and all the stuff that would benefit our people. They could create whatever it is that they want to sell to the greater world at large and sell them that music. That's fine. But they can bring us plays and music and art and aesthetic in a way that uplifts the whole person. They can sell them the vapid garbage that passes for entertainment. Sell that to them.
Right.
But when they come to us, They can bring us an aesthetic that heals, an aesthetic that empowers, an aesthetic that uplifts, entertainment that services the whole person, the whole tribe.
Without being compromised in any way.
Boom. Like you said, fam, we control that. We control that by making sure our artists can eat, by making sure our artists have a place to live, by making sure our artists is straight, that they kids, they ain't stressed out worried about who's taking care of their kids.
Yeah. See, that's just my whole thing, man.
I feel you, fam.
Like I said last go things, man, my main goal is for empowerment of our people. I just want to make sure whether it's through propaganda that we control or whatever the case may be, I just want to make sure that we have a strong, solid foundation so that if anybody comes into the fold and say something, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody has something that they stand on.
I agree.
And that's one thing. If you have something that you stand on, no matter what happens, I mean, you're not going to fall for just anything. That's just what it is.
I agree.
Know it's a cliche saying,
and you know what?
That
educational project, fam, is an ongoing thing, right? Propaganda, what people don't understand about propaganda is the reason why you see so much propaganda is because propaganda requires reinforcement.
Right.
So if we are going to see them reinforce propaganda, then we need to be doing counter propaganda, where we propagandize to encourage our people to have a clear understanding of white supremacy and not only do it once, but consistently reinforcement. We need edutainment.
Man, I appreciate this dialogue, man. Hey,
I appreciate you, brother. It's always, man, dude, it's always a good conversation when you call in, fam. You are always welcome.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt, man. Well, I know you got all the callers calling in, man. Hey, man, you have a good one.
I will, brother.
Man. Shout outs to the chat. One love, man.
One love, brother. Peace. Great call from the brother. Fam, see, look at what opens up in your mind when you start orienting towards solution-based thinking. The last year, 2 years, 3 years, for many of us, fam, has been goddamned frustrating. It's been us spinning our wheels. It's us been knowing what's going on and no fucking game plan. Well, today your brother just gave you a game plan. You can feel free to critique it. You can feel free to tweak it, preferably in conjunction with us. If you got a critique or something you want to add to the game plan, fam, don't, just do it for yourself. Share that shit. Come on a broadcast with me. Let's talk about it. Let's see where it fits. This is our baby. And we all have a say in how this tribe is raised. We are all the parents of the new generation of our people. A people born into an inheritance, not waiting for death to gain one. So fam, with that, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. We didn't have quite as many people viewing, but I didn't expect it, right? Because people, when you start talking about solutions, all of a sudden they kind of fade to black. You know, all those people that talk about doing the work, right? They talk about, putting in the work. I'm about to work. Let's do the work. Yeah, everybody wants to put in the work until it's time to actually put in the work. Until somebody puts up a measurable, something that you can actually do, something that you can say, yes, no, pass, fail, go, no go. Then a lot of people just fall back. But that's okay. We don't need everybody, fam. Unity does not require unanimity. Unity requires finding your people and getting to work. Many of you are my people, and we will have our opportunity to actually do something of substance, to build something. I promise you that. All right? And when we do it, we're not going to do it in the spirit of I told you so, or you niggas don't know enough, and this, that, and the third. No, we are going to do it in the spirit of we did it so that you can do it. We did it so that you are empowered to do it. We did it so you don't have to be bound by someone else's failure of imagination anymore. Right? So fam, with that, I want to thank all of you again. Great broadcast. Thank you to my callers. Thank you to all the people that contributed. Shout out to the newest member of the supporting members of the channel. Fam, take this week with this new empowering idea of economics that harkens back all the way to the creation of the word house management, household management, and understand that being one big Negro in the eyes of America is not a bug. It's a feature. And it's what's going to be ultimately, when we cleave to it, the salvation of our people, fam. Until the next time I speak with you all, as always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power, real power to our people.
Thanks, Mark. Needed a reality check after the hack.